Hey guys, we're back. We're at the Homecare Guyz after show with the phenomenal marketing guru, home care evolution expert, Steve the Hurricane Ferris. This was an amazing episode today. Steve, we want to just kind of dive in. We're going to ask some random questions initially, starting off, and these are going to be probably questions like, what are you guys asking me? And then we're going to dive back into our combo a little bit, because our audience is probably going to just, you're going to probably have so many followers after this, man, because our audience is going to eat this up. So, Steve, I want to say this. Let's talk about this. What has been one of your best places of travel, like either international or just in the States? What is your number one place to travel?
So I'll give you two. International, Switzerland. Absolutely amazing. Love it there. I went there for a month back when I was, 20 years old, and I got to see the entire country. I saw all the cities. I saw all the mountains. I saw all the alpine lakes that are there. And it is, I don't think I've seen a country the size of Switzerland. So I've been all over the United States, and the United States has a lot of what Switzerland has, but we're a much, much larger geographic area. Switzerland is a little bit bigger than like North Carolina. Right. And so you have, imagine a place the size of North Carolina that has all these amazing places and such in there. So I highly recommend Switzerland internationally. And then as far as in the United States, my favorite city in the world is New Orleans. And I absolutely love it. I've never had a bad time there. And you can find a good meal, whether you spend $200 a person or $5 a person, and you get a po' boy sandwich.
Look,
so
man,
we got something for every budget.
I'm so with you about New Orleans. I think I was sleeping on New Orleans for so long. My wife was like, no, you got to go to New Orleans. And that is hands down one of my favorite cities in the United States. So Steve, what's your favorite meat? Are you a steak eater, chicken, pork, lamb, frogs?
All right. So my favorite, and again, I got two. So steak, no doubt. And if I had to have a steak, it would be like a tomahawk steak, that big bone in it, that ribeye. When we were at the Statue of Liberty, you saw that. Remember that picture I took with the smile?
I have a picture, you guys. I'm gonna drop it right here.
Yeah, that picture. But that was the tomahawk steak. And then I'm also half German, and so I love a good German bratwurst, but it's got to be grilled. It's got to be grilled to the point where like the bratwurst splits open. That is a delicious sausage.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let me go. Let me dive in. Let's say Mercedes or Tesla. Which one?
Tesla. I own a Tesla. That thing is a bullet.
Both of you all.
I used to have M3, a BMW M3 coupe. That was the fastest car I ever had. I absolutely loved that car. It was like my child. And then once we got our third child, I had to get rid of it because I couldn't take anybody with me anymore. And so I ended up getting a Acadia Denali. But long story short, when I received my Tesla puts my M3 to shame. That thing flies down the road. It goes 0 to 60 in like under 3 seconds flat. And I'm just zooming around cars. I absolutely love it. So Tesla for the win.
I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, Fast. You get one more and I got one.
All right, well, I was about to say, I know I saw you on social media playing around with the Tesla and able to go through and park it or come to you as a valet.
It comes
feature.
To me.
I
just got a summon feature, and the car just drives up to me. It's like valet, but there's nobody in it. It freaks people out too. People are like, there's nobody driving that car. I'm like, yeah, and I get in and drive away.
Oh my goodness. Well, Kelly, you go with your last question. I'm gonna jump into the cover. I have a couple.
All right. Well, I just want to ask a basic question. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue, because of the hurricane blue, but before that, it's actually because of my New York Football Giants.
Actually, that's my favorite color too. Blue.
I swear, I think you all are twins, actually. The Tesla twins and all that other stuff as well. So I
got something to add to that real quick before you ask the question, right? So for the audience, we did a personality profile assessment at the last meeting we had in San Antonio, and all three of us are captains, right?
Yes.
There's multiple different personality profiles, but all three of us came out as captains. Now, Ferris is a stable captain, right? What does that mean? It means he's level-headed, he's focused, he's not bipolar, he's good, right? But then the craziest person on the planet is me, and then I look up and I see Caleb here, and he's the craziest person on the planet too, and I'm like, Look at us. We are the two craziest people in the entire room. We're captains. We're bipolar. We are who we are. We put it out there. We are tigers, and you know our stripes. We can't hide the stripes. So I was like, this guy is crazy.
We had such identical. Our graphs were just the same, and so it was just crazy. We're extreme. Extreme to the right, extreme to the left.
Nothing in the middle.
But you all are visionaries. You all are entrepreneurs. Like you all are going to go through and take that chance. Like it doesn't have to be the right opportunity. It's like, it's funny. Caleb's actually in Indiana right now, and so he went down there for a conference, and so we had the dates off, like, unfortunately. But Caleb, he found some way to get in the door. He's like, I know Caleb. Caleb's going to find a way. I don't have to worry about Caleb actually not getting in the door. He found some way to get in the door, found some way to make connections with the right people. And I think that's one thing that both of you all have. You guys are not going to accept that no. It's always a way. It's always a way. And so, see, I want to kind of go through and kind of hear, what's your perspective when it comes to home care? I think I had a young lady, she reached out to me. She was from Washington State. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I see you guys doing really good down in Georgia and other states as well. She was like, is the home care market becoming saturated? So I think a lot of people are kind of asking that question, like, oh my gosh, I see a lot of home care is becoming popular. Do you see the market as being saturated, or do you see there's still opportunity out there to serve?
I think there's a tremendous opportunity to serve. When you look at the population in the United States, the largest generational population are the baby boomers. And the baby boomers in the next 10 to 15 years, they're going to start to need a lot of care. The baby boomers also have the most amount of generational wealth in the country. And so as those baby boomers start to need care and eventually pass away, that wealth is going to pass to the next generations, Generation X, the millennials, Generation Z, and so on and so forth. And so people who are in a position to really capitalize on that generation needing help, that's why the opportunity is there. The one thing I will say that will be your biggest challenge, though, is not competition, but rather getting the caregivers to do the work that has to be fulfilled. So it's not saturated from a customer base, it's saturated from a workforce base. But if you know how to take care of people, you know how to manage people, you give them the support that they need, you will be fine for decades to come.
That's very good. Very good. Very good.
So I know that everyone is talking about right now. Well, it's pretty much kind of being the phenomenon. Everybody's trying to get into home care, and some people get in home care for the right reasons. Some people get into home care for the wrong reasons. Some people look at the dollar, and I want to just kind of elaborate. These are lives that we're really impacting, and these are lives that we're touching. And so if you're coming in there trying to say, okay, well, how can I get a Lambo next week? You're probably not going to work. It's probably not going to be the industry for you. But it's about really impacting lives and really touching the hearts, because these are people that are in our possession. I literally had a friend that called me actually yesterday, talking about a family member had a stroke, and I'm looking for resources now. And so as a home care provider, we are a resource-driven agency that is all about impacting and helping others get on a better footing or provide the care needed. So I definitely appreciate that. But it's all about the right reasons in home care. Just kind of make sure that is the main focus of it.
I'm glad you said that, Caleb. I don't mean to interrupt, but I had to say something on that, because over the years, I've had people who got into the business for the wrong reasons. And my advice to them was, sell this company or get out of this company or hire somebody to run it for you, because this is not for you. Go sell tires, go sell hamburgers, do something else. This is not for you. Because if you're not in it for that, taking care of people, the money comes when you take care of people first.
Right.
Hey, you. Are you taking care of a disabled loved one in your home? My name is Bertisha Colvin, and I'm a health coach with Prime Care Home Care. For the past few years, we've been helping families make lasting memories with their disabled loved ones by helping them get paid to take care of them. If you're interested in learning how, please give me a call at 229-349-5763.
Steve, I want to ask you about. I know you talked about and you mentioned about I guess generational and legacy. Like what is the legacy that you want to leave for either your family or for this business, for Home Care Evolution? What is that legacy that you want to leave?
So my legacy for the home care industry is really to be able to provide a superior quality level of service. When I think about what I see going on in the industry, the unfortunate thing, as you kind of alluded before, is more agencies don't know what they're doing as opposed to the agencies that do. So the whole reason why we got started helping folks get into this space is I want to teach people how to do it the right way from day one so they don't make the mistakes. So if they got the right heart, they got the right personality for it, they want to do good by others, let's build the business smart so that you can handle the volume of people with great need, provide that superior service, because it's a pay it forward.
Yes.
One day, we're all going to need help. We know this. People don't drop dead anymore. So because of that, there's a higher likelihood something's going to happen to us and we're going to need help for, a month, 6 months, maybe a year or two. And so I want to make sure there are good people out there continuing it so that when you need help and I need help, there's great agencies out there that can provide it.
Mm-hmm. Steve, that's awesome right there. And because agencies are needed, I think a lot of times, especially from what we see in our viewpoint as well, a lot of times people focus on a Medicaid-based agency. And I know you're a big proponent of actually a private pay model as well. Tell our audience why it's so important, because I know you alluded, and we had several conversations as we position ourselves for the future. Why is it so important to go through and have a strong private pay foundation as you're building a private duty business?
So it's very interesting you say this. As the conference that's coming up, I actually had one of my staff members, Jennifer, create an infographic around this. I'm going to spend a solid 15 minutes going over at the event, where you look at the population. Let's just use the United States, right? Even though we're all around the world, but in the United States, you have 40% of the population on Medicaid. You have 40% of the population that have some resources, but it's limited. And then you have the top 20% that have all the resources, that can get what they can get, and they'll pay the money for it. They want the superior service. Mm-hmm. I believe that there's something for everyone. Mm-hmm. So Medicaid, 40%, the government is taking care of it. For that 40% of the population, they're covered. Then you have the people who are in the next 40% who don't have unlimited funds. That's not necessarily the private pay client. That's what caring.com is for. That's what care.com is for. And you hire the caregiver directly because there's going to be some risk with it.
Yes.
There's going to be some liability with it, but it's what people can afford. It's what people can manage it themselves, and they can get by with it. Mm-hmm. And then you have your top folks who are the people who, if they need help, and they're choosing between moving into a nursing home and they're going to spend $120,000 a year to be in a nursing home. That's the national average.
Yes.
Or I bring somebody in my home, private pay, one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Most people in that category are going to go with bring somebody in the home to take me here, keep me here, and I want to pass away here. And then you have the oversight of an agency, that assurance that somebody will always be there, and things to make it easier for them. So Medicaid, the higher direct market for the other 40%, and then your top 20%, that's your agency. And there's a whole way to build your business around there. It fits something for everyone at every income level.
And I think that's so important, because I think a lot of times people think it's only one way to go through and skin a cat, and the margins are different. Like, especially we work in a Medicaid-based environment where we would love to be able to compensate our caregivers way more because we know they're deserving. But when you're working with a fixed budget, it's only so much you can do to balance that budget. But just like I said, that's why you're a big proponent for private, because you can go through and actually do some adjustments to make sure that you can compensate and also deliver quality service as well. So I'm like,
and
man,
to that point, and I know you and I have spoken about this. This is something I say to a lot of my clients who are in both, where they have the Medicaid and they're adding the private pay. You have people, when they come in entry level, their first job, they start Medicaid. Mm-hmm. When that Medicaid client passes away or discontinues services, if that person's been with you long enough and they're deserving of a raise, they're deserving of a promotion, now they can get promoted to the private pay side, where you can afford to give them the resources. And so it kind of creates this career path hierarchy for your caregiver's.
Love it. I love it.
I like that. I love that. Wow. Yeah. That's enough said. You know what? I would like to dive into caregiver retention. I know while we got you here, I know a lot of the providers are listening. We're like, I wish they would talk about something that I could just have a bullet on what I can work on. So let's talk about caregiver retention or caregiver recruitment. Let's talk about recruitment part. What are some tips that, for home care companies that are actually struggling in that area for, besides, coming to the conference? You got to come to the conference, but what is a tip or so you can give our audience that are that has an issue with trying to find the right caregiver, whether it's a nurse or RN, or LPN or CNA, to provide the in-home care? What are some tips you can do for recruitment?
So I'll give you 2 tips, and they actually cover both. All right. So the first tip is making sure that you have a minimum number of hours and you create a shift. So instead of it being, we don't have a minimum, we'll just provide 2 hours here or 3 hours there. That is very, very, very difficult unless you are a titan. Like, I would consider you guys titans of the industry with the amount of patients you're taking care of, the amount of caregivers you have. There's always somebody that needs help. But most agencies around the country, they're only taking care of like 50 patients, 60 patients. So if they're only taking care of that volume, you're not going to be able to fill a caregiver schedule up. So by having, say, a 20-hour minimum, you can get 2 clients to give that caregiver a true work-life balance, because they'll have 1 client in the morning, 1 client in the evening, and it's a 5-day work week, 8 hours a day. Work-life balance is huge. That's going to help you recruit and to keep those caregivers. The second aspect of it, which again is helping with both of it, is have a career path for your caregivers where they can grow. I love what you 2 are doing, where you have I think almost every person who works for you started out as a caregiver at some point, and they've grown into the company. Yes. Many of the members of the Elite Academy that I've worked with for years, same exact thing. I think about Susan Meyer, who's a member up here in New Jersey, who you met at the San Antonio meeting. Actually went out and the one over the summer, right? You met her at several meetings. Vera is her recruiter. Well, Vera started out as a caregiver. Then she went and became a care coordinator. Now she's working in the office and she is a recruiter. And who better to hire caregivers than somebody who was a caregiver? Yes. So it shows that you promote from within. It helps you to attract people. It helps you to keep people working for you because they want that next level. And then obviously when the position's open or you continue to scale and grow, you promote people accordingly.
Steve, look, that's all we're going to ask for, because I believe that now if a person has actually sat through the first interview and the after show, these people that are committed, these are people that are ready to go through and take that next step. And the next step is to go through and get butts in seat June 22nd at the Homecare Evolution, the boot camp. That's going to be, you said it's going to be in Newark, New Jersey, right?
Right at the airport there. So it's a New York City suburb.
Exactly. So again, let's not just be interested. Let's just not go through and go on YouTube all the time. Let's go through and make that commitment, because for you to go through and start off for anybody to go through who's listening, wants to grow and scale their agency to a 7-figure or 8-figure agency, it's going to take work. It's going to take some investment, but it's going to take getting around the right people and get into that circle. For those that desire to get into the circle with Caleb and I, we're in the Homecare Evolution Circle. So that's where you can find us if you're interested in actually starting an agency. And Steve, I know you were talking about, you were getting into the part where you're going to be going through and actually helping individuals as well jumpstart their private pay agencies, correct?
Yes. So the biggest thing about us, which is the best value proposition out there, we're going to help people open it and then scale it and grow it throughout the first 12 months in business. So when you look at all the other people out there that help people open a business, yeah, it's great. They're going to help you open it, and that's the end of it. With us, we're going to help you open it, but we're going to help you open it, get referrals, get caregivers, and see you through that first year. So instead of it taking 3 or 4 years to generate $1 million like most people do, we're going to help you do it in your first year with hard work.
Yes.
And following the program.
There you have it. Again, the next step, your next step, what do you do? What's your next step? Your next step is to go through and actually get into the room. Get into the room. That's where the transformation is going to happen as well. So, Steve, we want to say thank you so much for just being a guest on our show. This has been an amazing conversation. And Caleb, man, I appreciate you up there in Indiana, guys. Again, I swear, you all are the twins. And if I want to say I want to give props just to both of you all as founders of your own organizations, as people that's going to go, as visionaries, as individuals that are relentless, that are fearless. You guys are really impacting the world. And as you guys keep dreaming, our dreams and other dreams will continue to go through and come true as well. So again, thank you so much, Steve, for this dynamic interview, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Steve.